This is New York's #1 news, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, with Ken Rosado and Shirley Nallicott, Heather O'Rourke with traffic, and Bill Evans with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Now, Eyewitness News this morning.
Terror attack in New York City. New details about the man who drove a rental truck down a busy bike path on the West Side Highway.
We got multiple casualties. This is a mass casualty situation here.
A bunch of people came running past my way, yelling, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun."
Our spirit will never be moved by an act of violence, an act meant to intimidate us.
New developments at the suspect's home, plus what a note reveals about the attack as we learn more about the innocent bystanders killed in that attack. Hello, I'm Ken Rosado.
And I'm Shirley Nallicott. It is Wednesday, November 1st, and here is what we know at this hour about the truck attack. 8 people are dead, 13 people injured, and at least 3 of the injured are in critical condition. We are learning more about the people killed in the attack. 5 are from Argentina, and 1 is from Belgium.
The suspect is 29-year-old Sayfulo Saipov. He has been living in Patterson for 3 months. He rented the Home Depot truck in Passaic.
We also want to show you some new video from overnight. Federal agents at the suspect's home in Patterson, where they executed a warrant. And we have several reports this morning, including new information about the investigation.
Let's begin with Eyewitness News reporter Candace McCowan. She's live at the scene in Tribeca. Candace.
Ken, Charlene, we're here at Chambers and Wedge Street, which is still blocked off this morning. Police saying it will be blocked off as well as much of the West Side Highway until further notice, because that truck that was used in this rampage is still here on scene behind me in this blocked off area. Now we're getting another look at how that suspect's reign of terror ended this morning. And 29-year-old Sayfulo Saipov's hands are a BB gun and a pellet gun as he shouted, "God is great" in Arabic. Police shot Saipov in the abdomen before taking him into custody. Now, this was right after Saipov drove his rented Home Depot truck down the tree-lined bike path full of people on a beautiful fall day. He mowed down people for about 14 blocks, stopping only after crashing into a school bus. The mayor is calling this a particularly cowardly act of terror.
The dead and injured were just going about their days, heading home from work or from school, or enjoying the afternoon sun on bicycles. This is a tragedy of the greatest magnitude.
We know that this action was intended to break our spirit. But we also know New Yorkers are strong, New Yorkers are resilient.
Yeah, Jack and Julianne are. Well, we offer our thanks. President Trump released a statement saying that we offer our thanks to the first responders who stopped the suspect and rendered immediate aid to the victims of this cowardly attack. These brave men and women embody the true American spirit of resilience and courage. Now, this happens as 3 nearby schools were set to let out yesterday. Those 3 schools were put on lockdown at the time. They will be back in session this morning. We understand that they will have school employees out to help people direct through the traffic and the shutdowns here this morning. They'll also have trauma counselors on hand for those students. Live here in Lower Manhattan this morning, Candace McCowan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Candace, thank you. At 5:03, papers in New York and all around the world are describing the terror attack. Take a look at 2. On the left, you see the New York Post, which says terror returns to New York City. The Daily News says bike path bloodbath. Well, the suspect rented that Home Depot truck in Passaic, New Jersey, right near Patterson. Newscapter 7 was over the Home Depot where federal agents were last night. Eyewitness News reporter Stefan Kim is in Patterson, where federal agents executed a warrant at the suspect's home overnight. Stefan.
Well, Ken, investigators have executed that search warrant and have been in and out of this apartment building all night and morning. This is where they believe the suspect most recently lived for the past several years with his wife and 3 kids. Meanwhile, not far from here in Passaic, detectives are searching for clues at the Home Depot where his white Toyota minivan is parked. They're still waiting for a search warrant to go through that vehicle. Authorities say that's where 29-year-old Sayfulo Saipov rented the flatbed truck used in the deadly attack. Saipov entered the U.S. through Kennedy Airport from Uzbekistan in 2010. He had a green card that allowed permanent legal residence. Officials believe he lived first in Ohio after his arrival. Before moving to New Jersey, he lived for a time in Tampa, Florida. Neighbors there say there were never any red flags. Here in Patterson, there is a mosque around the corner. One worshiper says he doesn't recall seeing him there to hear the imam's peaceful teachings.
Islam teach us how to love people, not hate, and not like killing.
Hopefully find out information from him through the interrogation process, etc., as to what his motive was Did he travel abroad? Who he met with? Was he inspired? How was he inspired?
Now, federal authorities say, meanwhile, he had been on their radar, but it is still unclear why. Reporting live in Patterson, Stefan Kim, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Stefan, thank you. 5:05 now. Former New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly helped shed some light on how the NYPD deals with these kinds of terror attacks, saying it's very difficult to protect New Yorkers from this attack.
This is the nightmare scenario, no question about it. In New York City, you have 10 million people a day potentially on our streets on a business day. You do it ideally with intelligence, you do it with police officers deployed, but you can't deploy them everywhere. So there's an assumption of risk here.
Commissioner, I want to ask you about this potential plot that we witnessed unfold, a vehicle used as a weapon. We heard the calls from ISIS for followers to do this. This was the worst case scenario for many within law enforcement in this city.
Absolutely, and it's so difficult to prevent. I mean, how many vehicles do we have on the streets? We have a lot of open areas, even in Times Square. We have bollards, but there are open areas in Times Square where you simply can't put bollards into the ground.
Well, at this hour, more than a dozen people who were injured are being treated at 2 hospitals in the city. And Eyewitness News reporter Derek Waller is live at Bellevue Hospital on Manhattan's East Side. Derek?
And Charlene, good morning to you. Of course, we know 8 people are dead, 13 are injured. And this morning, we're getting some new video from an eyewitness who helped rescue some trapped students on a school bus that got caught up in that rampage. A warning, though, this video is graphic, but here it is, just a horrific scene. 2 students and 2 Department of Ed staffers were injured in that crash. One of those students injured critically. In all, we know 5 of Tuesday's victims were taken here to Bellevue, their conditions not being released. 10 people were taken to Presbyterian Hospital in Lower Manhattan, where 2 died and 3 others are in critical condition. Listen to what eyewitnesses had to say about this.
When I went that way, I seen a couple of bodies laying right there in the bike path.
Curiosity really fuels you at this point, so we were just looking out the window trying to see what was going on, but it was also disturbing and worrisome thinking about any other victims that could have been injured by the event.
And we also know that 6 of those dead are foreigners, including 5 from Argentina, 1 from Belgium, and the suspect, he's also here at Bellevue after police shot him in the hip. He's expected to survive. Live here on the East Side, Derek Waller, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Derek, thank you. And our live team coverage continues throughout the morning. Good Morning America, of course, will have extensive coverage starting at 7 a.m. And you can get updates anytime at ABC7NY and on our free news app.